A very good evening. Welcome to yet another edition of our tantalizing program Touchline. Leo tuko na mgeni wetu, tuko hapa karibu nami, atajitambulisha, tujue anatoka wapi na anafanya nini na amekuja kufanya nini hapa. Karibu.
Asante sana. Yes, my name's Luke Alwach. Yes, I'm an engineer by profession, but I'm doing coaching as a part-time, and the Technical University of Kenya coach. Right now we are playing at the regional level for both men and women. Yes, we finished number 2 in the women's category. That's called TOUCHLINE FC. And TOUCHLINE FC, we finished number 3. And right now, we are going to play back in the same league, regional league, Nairobi FKF, Nairobi West region. So, thank you.
Karibu sana coach. Welcome to the show. Remember tuko live kwa YouTube, Kelele TV. Tuko pia kwa Facebook yetu at Kelele TV. Twitter, you can find us also on Twitter at Kelele TV. On my left tuko na the normal culprits. Tuko na hapa mchezaji aliyekuwa anauza anaitwa Eric Masika. Salimia watu.
Karibuni sana kwa Kelele TV. Hope tukue pamoja for these few minutes or hours. Thank you. Welcome.
Hapo mwisho tuko na mwalimu senior teacher.
Thank you, Gak. Thank you, viewers. It's wonderful to be back here, and let's talk about football.
Welcome. How is it? Tell people hapo nje vile yako. Hapa.
Wapi hapa?
Hapa waambie vile hapa iko.
Hapa kuko tulikuwa tunaandika kwa composition. And the ambience. And the ambience in here it's nice. Alafu kuna ile kusweat.
Jesho jembamba.
3 trickles of sweat. But it's a wonderful
welcome. World Cup imeisha. Ligi yetu pia inaendelea. Leo we want to talk a little bit of kama kawaida. Tuanze na Kenya Premier League. Tumeona very many people wamekuwa kwa action. Bidco, KCB, Kakamega Homeboys, Leopards, Rangers, Gor Mahia. Gor Mahia, Leopards. Nini nafanya Leopards majamaa? Hebu kwanza tu tuongee tu juu ya hiyo AFC Leopards. Sasa hiyo wamepigwa 2 consecutive games.
No, walidraw last time.
Walidraw na
the last time we're here.
That's Sofapaka.
Yeah, they led until I think the 89th minute. Then waka concede. Then juzi wamepigwa. Eriko atuambie
nini kombaya na
maybe Eriko akiongea atuambie both from his perspective as a fan and as somebody who has been in that dressing room.
Yes.
There could be something in that dressing room that fans might not know. Atuambie.
Yes, tumecheza weekend na ndugu zetu wanaitwa Posta Rangers, and yes, we lost 1-0. Mchezaji mzoefu Calvin Odongo alitufunga dakika 80 game ikienda kuisha. I won't say FC struggling na mambo ya dressing room sahi, siwezi jua nyakora, siwezi jua mambo ya dressing room sahi. But I believe the coach, hata niliona juzi, unaona mafans wakaanza kumleta juu ati why is it always Mkangula anasabiwa, is he unfit, is he fit for the team, is he capable to handle the pressure as the captain, na tena mtu anategemewa. So kumaanza kuwa tena na zinaitwa aje boardroom matters, watu wanaanza kuongea juu tunafungwa. And I'll just give an example with Ulinzi vile alianza, they were struggling, but now naona wamerudisha, boti yao imetulia sasa kidogo. But for FC sija lose hope now, mimi najua ataperform tu bado.
Boti inazama. Coach Luke. Yes. Hii maneno ya FC, wewe umeona games mingi za Premier. Umekaa kwa bench. Umecheza ukafungwa. Nini inaendelea hapa FC? Just easy to tujaribu tu kama rumors. Jua tujui kitu inafanyika. Ndio tumejua. Labda tujelishe kidogo.
Well, what I can say about the big clubs, FC and Gor Mahia are one of the big clubs in Kenya. Yes. And what I can say about the big clubs, the expectations of the fans are always very high. Yeah. And when they don't deliver, and when the players don't deliver, then the fans will always bring animosity in the dressing room, and the pressure will always be on the players also to deliver on the pitch of play, on the field of play. But again, the players themselves are supposed to get composed. They're supposed to be composed and actually deliver. They play their part on the field and leave the rest for the management. Because actually that's what is actually ailing the two clubs, the two big clubs. Because you find if you go to the other clubs, they're just playing without pressure. And when they're playing without that pressure, they will always deliver. And when they turn the tables on the big clubs, the fans will always now fancy them, and wherever they go, now they will say that they are the people who now own the fans, yet the fans are actually for the big clubs. So the fans, once they turn against their clubs and give their players that pressure, you will find that the people who are now enjoying most of the support is the opponent.
Look, I tend to differ. Cliff. Hapa Luke anasema ati FC na Gor ni big club. Big club ni nini? FC the last time walichukua league ni 1998.
I think for a long time that debate
Gor
has been
sahi hata before malize. Ile mpira Gor inacheza ni kama tunacheza hata CNSL.
Yeah,
so what's a big club?
I think
you want a fan base sahi ya Gor iko.
The word should be historically big clubs, and unfortunately for Gor and FC, they have milked that history dry.
Yes.
For a very long time, they have relied on the history in terms of when the clubs were founded, history in terms of how many league titles they have. For a very long time, they were considered the biggest two because they were the ones that had the highest number of league titles between them. I am not very sure, but I think Tusker has overtaken, either they have equaled or they have overtaken FC in terms of league titles.
They have overtaken FC.
So FC Leopards is no longer in that conversation in terms of top two. Gor,
Which is true.
That is the truth. Gor, fortunately for them, the success they have had between 2013 and 2020 again moved them slightly away from the rest. So sometimes they get away from this conversation because they say, but the number of league titles. But if things continue to go the way they are going,
After
and Tusker
Corona
continues playing the way they are playing, then very soon they'll overtake even Gor Mahia in terms of league titles because the structures are not there. You see, and Eric is saying that FC Leopards needs time. In football, there is nothing that buys you time other than results. If you want time, you actually have to give results. Give fans, if you win 3 matches and lose 1, fans will give you time. They will always see there is potential here. But if you draw 1, lose 2, they'll not give you that time. So that pressure is coming because of 2 things. You say the last time FC Leopards won a match, I was in class 4.
Won the league.
The league.
1998.
Yes, I was in class 4 in 1998. So you can just imagine now I have
matured.
I have taught for 9 years. So look at it that way. I was in class 4. So that's what the biggest problem is.
Here is Eric alichezea FC.
Yes.
Hawakuchukua trophy. And I think that in our era, I think that was the best team.
Yes.
Hiyo ya Okinao nini.
We used to call them Wanga Musika.
Wanga Musika. Kwanza kuna dancing.
They were very good in dancing.
They were very good in dancing and they forgot to play soccer. So, mimi kusema ati timu kubwa nini, mimi nimekataa. Mimi sahi naangalia Tusker pale juu. Angalia kitu
City Stars is coming.
City Stars, angalia Nzoia.
Homeboys.
Look.
Yes,
briefly.
Yes, briefly, if I may talk about the same, you find that these big clubs, right now they're struggling. And you find with the City Star, when they came back with a sponsor.
Yes.
We have, Tusker is always having a stable sponsor. And so, when we talk, Nzoia is having a sponsor right now. When we now talk about football, football is now, it's a business, and when the incentives are there, you find that the players will get motivated and play for that. I know Gor also got a sponsorship through Sports Pesa, and now they are having that incentive. Same to FC, but what is now ailing them is that they were banned from signing, and so without the signing again, they are relying on the players who are in the junior team or the youth team, and this one again is not making them be in the limelight during in the competition. But when they acquire the best players, it will be okay. But I'm not saying the players they are having right now are not good. They are good. It's only that they still don't have that experience to take them or propel them to the top.
But look, you are saying that Gor were banned. Look at it. I think, why was Gor banned? Gor ilikuwa banned kwa nini?
Jua ile transfer walikosa kulipa ule mchezaji pesa. Was it the Malian
na hiyo ni kawaida. Kuna watu wanasema hapa ati Gor na FC ni biashara. Unatoa mtu hata Mali, Rwanda, Burundi unamleta hapa acheze game, akose kulipwa aende kwa FIFA tena alipwe. There are speculations that imagine Gor walikuwa na sign that goalkeeper and we had Gad.
Yes.
Yeah. Gad was there.
We had Gad, we had Caleb. Caleb had just been promoted from the...
Yes. So, sai watu wanasema, ati hata hii Gor, FC, hizi maban, they are self-made. Mimi nakutoa hapa, na kusign, alafu, tunakosa kukulipa. Ukienda FIFA, si lazima tukulipe. Alafu natupatia kickback.
You know, Gak,
does that hold water?
Yeah. For some time, I managed to have been a great fan of Gor Mahia and follower of Gor Mahia. I've not stopped, but I'm saying in terms of following, going for almost every match, at a time when the standard of, or the caliber of foreign players that Gor Mahia attracted was... You were sure, you knew that if a player landed in this country to play for Gor Mahia, then that kind of player, it was a player that, number one, was commanding starting 11 in their country. Sibomana was, I think, the assistant captain of Rwanda at that time. We know Khalid Aucho, we know the Walusimbis of this world, Kagere, Tuisenge. And the argument was, and I supported it, that there was no way you were going to come here as a foreigner and sit on the bench.
True.
Yeah, true.
Okay? But all of a sudden, currently, both in Gor Mahia and in AFC Leopards, you have foreigners there whose names you cannot even remember. Why? Because they rarely play. I think if you ask me about the foreigners in Gor Mahia, I only know of Luasa. That's the only one who starts.
How many foreigners are there?
I don't know. I know of Luasa. I don't know that there is any other. But I know of Peter Luasa. But even Peter Luasa does not even reach the level of the other guys that came before him.
Or even, instead of going for Luasa Luke or Coach Luke, I think they are better players. Mimi usema, wezi toa mchezaji vile unasema tu, alafu wacheze kwa bench. But also wachezaji watu wa Kenya, kuna ile work ethics, hawana. Juu utaona wao wachezaji wa deadly, hawana work ethics. Look.
You're the one who enters
1 minute, yes.
Yes, you find that well. Our players, the players who are coming from Kenya, we may not say that they lack work ethics as per se, but what is there is that exposure. If they are exposed to a certain level.
Look, I tend to, let me object you. I don't agree exposure. Juu wale watu tulikuwa, kuna wachezaji tulitoa Uganda, hata wajawahi toka Uganda. They have just been playing in the local league. Kuna wale wa Rwanda, anywhere wale wanakuja, ama tu hata TZ. Or what do you mean by exposure?
What I mean by exposure is that, well, they are playing, they are very good players, but you find that, let me talk of the level of discipline. You find that the discipline level in our players is a little bit down as compared to, because they'll be like, I'm good and there's nothing you're going to tell me. So maybe that's one, because I've worked with them. I've worked with most of them from the grassroots when they're propelling up, including Eric who is here. Yes, when I started coaching, I found them, and they're the first people whom we coached And I worked with him. But you find that during that time, they were really listening to what we were telling them because they knew what they wanted. And that crop of players who came from us, they were like 13 and joined Coach Sianga in Gor Mahia through Secretary Kodera. They really made an impact on the same. And that's where Gor Mahia started reviving. And then from there, they have now made it, but you find it reached a certain level when now they think now they know and they cannot be told.
Thank you.
And Eric is one of them and is here with me and he can testify to the same.
Now we know why you retired.
Yes, it's true, and especially now when he was now crossing the borders. Yes. People could advise him, but again, the money was good for him, so he went for the money, and then after that,
He broke. Tell him the truth. He broke our heart.
Look,
Tell him the truth. You know,
yes,
now
unajua,
yes,
all these things is about money.
It's
Ukisema
about
money,
yeah.
Mimi I differ because at the end of the day we are playing soccer to make money.
Yes.
It's something you enjoy. Sasa hiyo Lunga anapiga shughuli Qatar. Si alitoka Japan.
Yes.
Juu ya do. Hata mseme ati sijui aende Arsenal, aende Madrid. Haizi kakusikiza. Hapa iliko, mimi najua, nataka tu nikuulize swali. Iliko ukitoka Gor ulikuwa unalipwa donga?
Nitoka Gor? They paid me
30,000.
Yeah.
Ulicross FC. Ukalipwa.
They doubled na wakasema wanaongeza tena juu.
So ilikuwa 90.
Yeah, it was
Ilikuwa 90.
It was in excess of 80.
80.
It was 80, yes.
It was 80,000. Na transfer fee yake ilikuwa 500,000.
450.
450.
plus a bag of sugar.
Plus a bag of sugar. Na alipewa sukari na mio. So no, wewe unasema hata kama ni wewe ungebaki Gor?
No, it's okay. He went and he even went on a clean heart. But after that, he saw the money and the
Celebrity.
discipline came in. What do I mean by the word indiscipline when I talk about players? I don't mean the indiscipline of being rude. The things they do behind the scenes. Yes.
Si unasema tu sherehe.
Yes, the things they do behind the scenes. When they are not on the field of play. That's the thing, that's the discipline I'm talking about. And that's what is ailing our most of our good players.
Gak, maybe I can just add something. Maybe what Coach Luke is saying could be true. At that time when Gor Mahia was really performing, there was a conversation that you could easily predict the itinerary of the foreign players.
Yes.
You knew that Tuisenge would wake up, or Kagere. Kagere used to live in Nairobi West, the headquarters of Sherehe in Nairobi, of Veve and Reggae. But he would leave, go to Camp Toyoyo, train or City Stadium, train, and you would get him in his house 1 hour after training. A match would end, and you can be sure you will find Kagere in his house. Compare him with our players who are playing with him. They would leave the same game, having won. By midnight, you find the same players with in the same Nairobi West, but now in a very different position. Those high stools, let's do
Sina shida.
With ladies around them. So it is something that I don't know whether it is because we don't have, and I'm very sure we're going to talk about academies in this show. I don't know whether it is something that needs to be inculcated in these players at primary level. That you can actually be a celeb, you can actually be able to play the game at the highest level, win, but still be able to take care of yourself. Because I think it's playing a big role in the way their careers end very early.
Cliff, tuko na Eric hapa. Maybe very briefly, atuambie, what can you've been there, Luke alisema ulikuwa disciplined. What did you see wrong, or what, if you are taken back, what would you change, or what would you advise these young players?
Okay, kapi kitu naweza sema hapa. Ndasema tu vile coach Luke amesema, sometimes the coach will do his part kwa pitch na hata kufuata kwa nyumba yako. So as players na wale players wamekuwa, there's a thing that our coaches vile kina Luke walikuwa wanafanya, coach Francis, monitoring. I'll be monitoring you ile utaona mimi ni mtiaji ama mimi but na kumonitor to see where do you stay, who are you living with, how many girlfriends you have. Itakaa petty but it always helps mchezaji. Inasaidia. Nataka kujua huyu ana date nani, huyu anakulanga nani, anaenda na kunywa na kina nani hao.